What is up, Dynasty Leaguers? Welcome back into another DLF YouTube channel video. This one is going to be another rookie mock draft. I've gotten a flood of awesome positive feedback and reception from you guys in the comment section, and then asking me to do rookie mock drafts like I was drafting for your team. So this is another video here, another draft that's occurring over this weekend on May 29th on Saturday, which has seemed to be a pretty popular date for rookie drafts. So I'm excited to do this, and I'm excited for everybody who is getting the opportunity to actually do their rookie drafts because it is extremely fun. So this one's another one here. This one comes to us from Jeff Phillips down in the comments. So Jeff, thank you so much for asking me to do a rookie draft for you in your place, in your roster and stuff. So thank you so much, because we're going to be getting into this because we have 11 picks that we need to talk about, all in the first and second round, in a very interesting league format as well too. So it's going to be really, really interesting, and we got some stuff to cover, some choices that we need to make. So let's get right into the video. So like I said at the beginning, this one comes to us from Jeff down in the comments section, who is drafting this Saturday in a very interesting league and format. So let's get right into it here. This league is super interesting. It's a 12-team tiered PPR league, and by that I mean that you get half a point per reception for running back, 1 point per reception at wide receiver, and 1.5 points per reception at the tight end. So an interesting tiered PPR structure there for the scoring. Also, quarterbacks are 6 points per touchdown, -3 per interception. Then we have this one additional layer of a half a point per rushing or receiving first down. So if you're not familiar with how point per first down works, it's something that has gained a lot of popularity within the fantasy community, especially on Twitter, because of the Scott Fish Bowl. If you're familiar at all with the Scott Fish Bowl, it's a massive tournament for Toys for Tots and stuff that Scott Fish puts on every single year. It's a fantastic event that I've been lucky to participate in for the past few years, and this is where I've gotten introduced to the point per first down system as well. Basically what it does is it helps out the running backs pretty significantly, I think. Helps out the running backs, especially the workhorse guys, the guys who are going to be on the field for 3 downs, because they have opportunities to get the first downs through rushing or receiving, which really helps them. It helps with wide receivers as well, not so much as running backs, just because it's harder for them just to get first downs in general, unless they're getting like 10 or 11, 12-yard receptions and whatnot. But to be able to rack them up every single game like a running back can be able to. So definitely helps out those running backs, specifically those workhorse running backs. So let's look at his roster here. Like I said, this is a Superflex league. So at quarterback, he has Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert, as well as a few other backups. At running back, he has Cam Akers, Tariq Cohen, and J.D. McKissick. Wide receiver, he's got Justin Jefferson, Deontay Johnson, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Jarvis Landry, and T.Y. Hilton. So pretty solid wide receiver core there. And then at tight end, he has Noah Fant and Cole Kmet. So I already like this roster. I like the direction that he's heading in, and I think that this draft class is going to be super important for him. And I think that's also what Jeff is thinking as well, because like I said, we have 11 draft picks all in the first and second rounds that we need to go through, and I think we've got some choices here that we need to make. So let's get right into this, because there's quite some some stuff that we need to talk about and digest here. So let's look at this. This is his draft pick. So 5 in the first round, the 103, 107, 108, 111, and 112. And then 6 picks in the second round. He's got 202, 3, 4, and then 8, 9, and 10 in the second round. And what's also really interesting, and what adds another layer into this one, is he actually sent me the draft board, and there's one other manager in the league, one other of his league mates, who actually owns the 102, the 104, the 105, and the 106. So the same manager owns these 4 picks right here in between his 103 and his 7 and his 8. So that just adds a whole nother layer on top of already what we got in a really interesting format, an interesting team, and a lot of draft picks that we need to cover. So I think we just need to get right into it here. We need to start this draft off because basically, the 101 I would imagine would be Trevor Lawrence, like it is here. Interesting that the 102 was Justin Fields. I would think that it would also probably be more likely to be Trey Lance just as much. But we got some decisions here because we could go the quarterback route. We're in that range where we could grab either Trey Lance or Justin Fields whoever is not taken at the 1.02. And I'm partial to Trey Lance. Lance is my QB2 in this draft class post-draft. We could add a quarterback there as our QB3 and basically add him in with Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert, have a very, very strong, elite, young quarterback core that we could be, entering into the next decade with, and just not having to touch that quarterback position whatsoever at all, because all three of those guys are already being valued as QB1s in Dynasty. So that's a very strong play and option that we could definitely go on that route. The other option that we could go to, because we are looking at the same manager having 4, 5, and 6, the 3 picks in between our 103 and the 107 and the 108. So looking at his roster, if you dive down through his roster, he only has Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold right here at quarterback. His running backs are a little lackluster. He does have J.K. Dobbins and Antonio Gibson, but a lot of other backups as well. But those are really the only 2 options that he has. Wide receiver, pretty similar. Doesn't have fantastic options. He does have CD Lamb and Jalen Reagor, but then you got Christian Kirk, Jalen Guyton, Tyler Johnson, Colin Johnson. Not great options there. And then again, tight end, Hooper, Gerald Everett, Alberto, Harrison Bryant, Drew Sample. So he has holes. Basically every single position on his roster could be a position of need for him. And it definitely helps him out that he has 4 draft picks in the first 6 picks. So he can definitely address the quarterback. I think with 1.02, that's probably the most likely scenario where he goes Fields or Lance. But then that 4, 5, and 6 are really where we need to talk about, because he could double up on quarterbacks. He could go the Najee and Jamar Chase route. He could get Kyle Pitts in there as well. Basically, I think whoever we're not taking here is going to go off the board. And that's just kind of the situation that we're at. So we could take Kyle Pitts. Let's run through each scenario. We could take Kyle Pitts, and I think that would force him to go Jamar Chase, Najee Harris, and then that last pick could either be another quarterback in Zach Wilson, or I guess it would be Trey Lance. So he could take Trey Lance there. Or maybe he doubles down on running back, goes Travis Etienne. Maybe he doubled down on wide receiver, take Devonta Smith or Jaylen Waddle. That could be a good range of possibilities. Maybe we take Jamar Chase here. I think that would force him to go Pitts, Najee, and then Trey Lance, or doubling on one of those positions as well. Or we could go Najee, which would then force him to go Pitts, Chase, and then a quarterback, or doubling up on one of those positions. If we take Trey Lance here, what I'm nervous about doing is if we take Trey Lance, I think the next 3 picks are automatically Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Najee Harris. I think that's how that goes. So basically, if you don't take a quarterback here at 1.03, you're forcing the hand of the other manager to either take a quarterback, or he's going to allow a quarterback to come back to you. That's basically the play right there. If he doesn't allow a quarterback to come back to you, you have the opportunity then to double up on a quarterback in terms of you get Zach Wilson, and then you get either Travis Etienne or Devonta Smith or somebody like that, or Javonte Williams in there. There could be a lot of situations for 7 and 8. We'll get to that. But basically, I don't think you take a quarterback here. I don't think you take Trey Lance. I don't think you take Justin Fields. Back him into a corner. Make him say, you know what? You have to take a quarterback here. Otherwise, I'm getting massive value on one of those 2 guys. And I still got an elite option in Pitts, Chase, or Najee Harris. That's what I think we go for here. So then the situation becomes, do I take Pitts, Chase, or Najee Harris? This one's difficult for me. Pitts is really making a strong case just because of the whole Julio Jones rumors and stuff that he's being traded. So if he's like now the second target in Atlanta, that's really, really enticing. Jamar Chase is also good. Gives you a high ceiling wide receiver to pair with Justin Jefferson. Although your wide receiver depth chart is really strong as well. And we also have the potential to double up on a couple wide receivers here, owning the 111 and the 112. So I feel like taking Jamar Chase leaves us open to not getting a running back down the line unless we're really focusing on Etienne and Javonte Williams here. So my pick actually would be Najee Harris here. I think you take Najee Harris, force the other guy to take a quarterback here, which he ended up doing in this mock, and then you still get your running back. You pair him with Cam Akers. You're looking very good there. We're on the clock now at 1.07, and as I expected, it was a quarterback, Ja'Marr Chase, and Kyle Pitts were the picks. And I would probably expect that would be how it would go in the actual draft as well from that same manager. So now at 7, we can go to Zach Wilson. We can get our quarterback, our young quarterback in QB3. Don't need him to do a whole lot, but he has a high ceiling. You could potentially, be looking at a guy who is a perennial QB1 down the road, or at least giving you some solid QB2 years that you don't have to play because you already have Justin Herbert and Kyler Murray, but it solidifies that quarterback position and allows you to not have to touch it or revisit that position for a long while, as long as Zach Wilson doesn't completely flame out like Sam Darnold, but still giving you at least a couple years, 3, maybe 4 years of not having to touch that quarterback position, at least that QB3. So I like that, getting Zach Wilson there. And then here at 1.08, like I said before, we have 11 and 12. We have 2 shots at wide receivers at 11 and 12. And I think that this is basically a massive tier of all these guys are all basically the same. I don't really see one over the other. I do like Rashod Bateman, obviously, to lead that list, that tier. But here I would take Travis Etienne. I'm just taking my running back 2. We have 2 running backs now in Najee Harris and Travis Etienne, adding to Cam Akers, really solidifying that running back core because we can start 2 of them. And then we also have 2 flex spots that allows us to potentially, start all 3 of them once Travis Etienne and Najee Harris really get going in 2021 or maybe 2022 as well. So we're up again at 111 and 112. Reminder, we still have 2, 3, and 4, I believe it is, from the second round here. 2, 3, and 4, and then 8, 9, and 10 in the second round. So we got 2 more picks here. Wait, 2 more picks. We're up again for 3. So this could be a really interesting situation. And something that I thought about advising before I started recording this video was actually pairing 11 and 12 to try and get back up into the 4, 5, 6 range. Because I think if you do that, you could solidify getting Ja'Marr Chase and Kyle Pitts. I almost feel like I would rather take the solidified guy in Ja'Marr Chase rather than 2 potential dart throws at the wide receiver position at 11 and 12. Or if you want to do 111 and like 202 or 111 and 203 to try to move up into that 4, 5, 6 range. The other, you can, basically say to the other same manager who has all 3 of those picks, be like, hey, listen, you potentially need some more draft picks as well. Just trying to give you more shots because of whatnot. You can spin that any way that you want, but just saying like, here's some more ammo for you in this class. Drop down a few picks, wait it out, and you get your stud player, and you get Ja'Marr Chase, you get Kyle Pitts. That would be one of the things that I would try to advise going into your draft, is trying to bump up into that range to get another shot at taking Najee Harris and Ja'Marr Chase or Kyle Pitts and a quarterback in Travis Etienne at 7 and 8. I really, really like that opportunity. If that's not possible, we're taking 2 wide receivers here at the 11 and 12. First one for me would be Rashod Bateman. That's just me personally. The second one here, I would take the high upside swing on Jaylen Waddle. And the reason why I would do that is just because, again, we only have one other pick, the 2.01, before we're on the clock for 3 more picks. So Mac Jones went in this instance, which basically opens up to us to taking more wide receivers and running backs as well. But Jaylen Waddle just offers a lot of upside and ceiling, and if he's been comped to Tyreek Hill. So if one guy in this class is really going to smash and break out that's not Ja'Marr Chase, it could very well be Jaylen Waddle in a top 5, a top 10 season. And that's something that you could use on this roster when you're looking at your roster of, you have Justin Jefferson, but then you have a bunch of wide receiver 2s in Deontay Johnson, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and then Landry and T.Y. Hilton. There's not a lot of upside there and really swing for the fences type of a flex play either. It's just a lot of consistency. So you can add Jaylen Waddle here. And you're adding more consistency with Rashod Bateman, I think. But Waddle really does it for you in terms of getting a high explosive piece at the wide receiver position. So we're up for 3 more picks here. I think this one here would be your choice between Elijah Moore and Rondale Moore. Personally, I would have Rondale Moore here. You could actually double up on both of them. What I would probably go for here is I think I'm going to double down on running back. I'm going to take Trey Sermon and Michael Carter because there's a massive teardrop after those 2 for running backs. And I think that you could still have the opportunity to get solid wide receivers here at 8, 9, and 10, or at least taking shots on guys, that could have some upside. You're not getting Carter and Trey Sermon both back at 8, 9, and 10. So I'm just going to draft both those guys and help further solidify that running back depth chart. So we drafted 4 running backs now in this class to add to Cam Akers. Here at 8, 9, and 10, I would go Kadarius Toney. Just go for draft capital. Take the shot on another high upside guy in Kadarius Toney. Just see what happens. The other one here, I would go with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just because, what happens if he does end up being the guy in Detroit? There's a possibility there. Take a shot on that and a dart throw and see what goes on. Finally, here at the 210, this is our last draft pick. You could go multiple different ways. You could go, Chuba Hubbard for seeing if potentially Christian McCaffrey gets hurt again. I don't necessarily expect that, and I wouldn't be predicting an injury to Christian McCaffrey. But if that happens, Hubbard would be next in line for those touches. And we saw how good Mike Davis was last year in those touches. So, Hubbard could offer you RB3, RB2 upside if Christian McCaffrey goes down, which could be a pretty solid play here. You could go Tylan Wallace, but you already have Rashod Bateman. You could go Pat Freiermuth to add to your tight ends with Noah Fant, but I feel like Freiermuth is more of a long-term play, and you're not really looking for that right now, and you already have Noah Fant as well. And then basically there's a bunch of other wide receivers that you could go with, and Amari Rodgers, Nico Collins, Diami Brown, Josh Palmer. You could go the quarterback route, but we already have Zach Wilson. Personally, this is just me and how I like to build out my teams and my personal strategy. I would take Chuba Hubbard and just go for swinging for the fences if Christian McCaffrey does get hurt. Again, we're adding to the running back depth, and the wide receiver depth that you already had was great coming in. And again, we drafted 5 wide receivers in this class. So I'm just going to take the shot on Hubbard as, your RB 6 or 7 or whatnot, and then just see what happens. Maybe Christian McCaffrey does get hurt, because if he does, he's next in line to step up and get a majority of those touches, just like Mike Davis did last year. And Mike Davis was an RB2, RB1 at some weeks last year. So pretty favorable and very good spot to have and to roster. So ultimately, that's what I ended up going with. I think the 1.03 could have a lot of strategy. I ended up going Najee Harris because in my mind, you're forcing the same owner who has 4, 5, and 6 to go quarterback again, double down on those quarterbacks. Otherwise, you're getting tremendous value on Trey Lance, and you still have the opportunity to corner him into either getting Trey Lance and giving you that value, or him taking Trey Lance and then a guy like Travis Etienne or Javonte Williams falls to you at 7 and 8. I would say, just as a contingency plan, if he doesn't go Trey Lance and he goes Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, and Travis Etienne, you get Trey Lance or Justin Fields. You can insert either one of those two at the same breath and whatnot at that pick at 1.07. And then my other guy would be Javonte Williams. That's just how it would go for me. So you can basically, my plan for you would be Najee Harris at 3. And then 7 and 8 would be quarterback, insert quarterback in Lance, Fields, or Wilson in that order. And 1.08 would be insert running back in Etienne or Javonte Williams. Or magically, if Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase falls to you and he doesn't take either one of those, auto pick, slam dunk both those guys. Either one, whoever's there. 111, 112, doubling down on the wide receivers in Rashod Bateman and Jaylen Waddle. 2, 3, 4, Rondale Moore, Trey Sermon, and Michael Carter. I took Sermon and Carter just to add to the running back depth, taking shots on both those guys. Jeff Wilson has already been reported to be out for 4 to 6 weeks, which is bumping up Trey Sermon to the RB2 behind Raheem Mostert. And Mostert himself can't even stay healthy, so you're potentially looking at your starting running back for the San Francisco 49ers and Trey Sermon there. And I think that you need to take the shots on both of them because neither one of them are going to make it back to you at 7, 8, and 9. But you can still get pretty good shots on wide receivers like what we did, at 8, 9, and 10 in Kadarius Toney, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then taking the shot on Chuba Hubbard. So that's how I attacked this rookie draft for you, Jeff. And maybe I provided some insight for you, some additional strategy, some thinking into how you can attack 3 and 7 and 8 with that same manager taking 4, 5, and 6 and having 2 as well. So hopefully that helps out with your rookie draft on Saturday. Good luck to you. Let me know down in the comments if you have any other questions or strategy. Definitely let me know how this one goes, because I did have a lot of fun mocking this one, especially with the additional points per first down. The tiered PPR was all just a very cool league format to be able to see and kind of work with here. So thank you so much, Jeff, for giving me this roster. Thank you to all the viewers out there for watching, for tuning in. A little bit longer, but we had some more stuff to kind of get through today. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We will catch y'all later.